Today is February 26th, 2026. My name is Emily, and I'm a parent of the district. Tonight we're having one of our school board meetings, and the district has allowed public comment to occur in length due to what happened on February 20th with the students that were attacked by Scott McElree and potentially some of the Quakertown Police Department. And you've got people from both sides coming to support what they believe in, and overwhelmingly the students are getting the most support. And we're in a really unprecedented time in the world where a lot is coming about with government corruption. We're seeing ICE in our streets, murdering people in broad daylight, cameras rolling, and our children are seeing that. They're seeing families ripped apart. And I'm at home talking to my child and trying to teach him and make him feel safe. And I talk up the community that we've been living in for 4 years because I moved here thinking it was a lot more diverse. So to see an adult ever handle a child the way that the chief of police and the borough manager did in this town, I wonder, what is the training like for our police officers? What are they trained? How are they trained to de-escalate situations, especially with minors? Everyone that showed up, high emotions. A lot of people were shouting over each other when they didn't like what they had to hear. But at the end of the day, that's kind of why we're here, right? Is our kids were trying to stand up for their right to express themselves. And that's what everyone did here tonight. And I think it went really well as it could have been, considering the nature of the topic is really tragic.
This is our passion. You know, we like to protect our community and get everybody together so that we can all have our, just be together and be humans together and not try to be separate. That's why we're gathering here peacefully, right? We're not here to be angry mob or anything like that. We just want to make sure that the school board knows what we feel and how we feel about this situation and how we want to move forward. So we've got some great people here tonight to give us a little bit of a message. First, I want to bring up our buddy Laura Foster. She's going to give a great little introduction about UVU.
Thank you. Thanks you guys for coming. I'm Laura Foster. I'm one of the co-founders of Upper Bucks United. I work in Quakertown. I spent the afternoon driving around some of the spaces that are kind of like hallmarks now for our community. And I stopped by the administrative building to see if Scott's still working there, and they couldn't give an answer, and it's disappointing. I think we're in a place where the adults who were the adults in the room didn't act like adults in the room. So guess what? We're the adults in the room then. We're the ones that are holding people accountable. We're the ones that are standing up for the children. We're the ones that are coming with peace and love in our hearts and doing the things that the adults that were supposed to be there to protect our students didn't do. I do have some. I wrote down some things, but I don't really know. I'm not gonna read them because I think some of the things that are coming up here are within all of us. It's not there's questions that need to be answered by the school administration, and we're here to ask for accountability from our school. There's questions about why the SRO officer, so that's the school resource officer who's technically employed by the Quakertown Police Department, why was he at the protest? Once he left school grounds, was he no longer a school employee? Was he a police department employee? Who is he reporting to? Was he reporting to Scott? Was he reporting to Lisa, our interim superintendent? There's a lot of unclarity there, and it's disheartening that the school puts out a statement that says that, once kids leave school grounds, it's no longer under our jurisdiction, but they sent out someone to kind of monitor what was going on. Why wasn't that person there protecting our kids? Why were they standing by? Is that person still employed by the school district? The other pieces that I think could hopefully come out here tonight is a different response around the respect and love for these kids. For the Quakertown 5, right? Now, these kids have a name, right? These kids as young as 15, one of which is still in a detention center today. our school district here had the response of initially saying things like, we are thankful that the police were helped to care for us during this time. Who were the police caring for? Was it Lisa? Was it Dr. Hoffman? Was that who our police were caring for while she's in her office and our kids are getting thrown against planters on the ground and put in chokeholds? That's not caring for us. It was insensitive and tone deaf to the situation. Our school board has a responsibility now to rectify what's happened. I work in, my orientation is social work. And so we always kind of like look forward, right? We look towards like advocacy. We look towards like addressing issues and highlighting them. But I'm not here to bash the school. Like, I know there are allies in that school. I've been talking to them all week. I know there are people that care deeply about these kids. They just got to stand up and start doing something about it. The steps moving forward are steps not just around accountability, but around addressing this issue so that it never happens again. So this is more than just saying, like, I did this or I did that or I didn't do this or I didn't do that. It's about looking at the culture and climate of this school. I mean, you can't have conversations around ICE and protests and students' rights without talking about race relations in this community, without talking about police brutality in this community. It can't go unnoticed that most of the kids that were arrested were the Hispanic kids. And when you watch the videos, the police officers walk right past the white kids holding phones and going after the Hispanic kids. So how about our school get some, not sensitivity training? How about we address the real issues and they have some training on race, on implicit bias, on how to make the culture in this school better. And that administrators can recognize that when they are talking in letter, putting out statements in letters where they are thankful to the students who didn't leave, why don't they be thankful to the students who showed us a civics lesson that we all needed? Yeah. There's may or may not be police presence here today. I mean, I don't think that that's the issue. I think the issue is that we are now the adults. We are the ones that are looking to hold this school accountable, the same way that we're holding the Borough Council accountable. So when Scott is there in his office or not in his office because they won't confirm if he's working there or not, our responsibility is to show up on, the next borough meeting, which is March 4th. Our responsibility is to step in that office and ask where Scott is. A lot of us in this community know Scott. And for the borough to not give a statement is a huge deal. For our district attorney not to be giving a statement at this point is a huge deal. We need to be asking Mr. Khan what's going on down there and how come we haven't heard anything coming out of that office. Come on now. There's a lot of hope in this situation. In that, I hope that our community can rise out of this as a community who did it right. Our community could come out of this not because of the school's response or because of the borough's response, but because of our response here. We are the ones that will hold accountability. We are the ones who will make sure that we stand up for these kids no matter what. We are not going to stop. We are going to be here for them until justice is served. Thank you.
We have some other folks here. I want to introduce from Quakertown United Methodist, Pastor Graham.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Pastor Graham Truscott. I'm from Quakertown United Methodist Church, and I'm honored to be here today. My perspective comes from that of a pastor. And from my eyes, justice has not been done for these kids. The treatment of them is unacceptable. From my perspective, justice, the definition of justice comes from the Bible. And that definition is that justice is not about punishment. Justice is about making things right. Justice is about everybody getting what they need to be well, to do good, and to thrive. That's been denied these kids. Justice is about both the kids and any officers who may have been injured healing from their wounds. And justice is about getting all of the kids to their homes, back to their families. Yes. And justice is about fixing problems so that they do not happen again. Because the only way you have lasting peace is to address the underlying problems that caused fear and anger and hate and violence. And until we address them, justice cannot fully be done. I'm a person of faith. And so for me, it comes very naturally to pray in this situation. As a person of faith, if you are a person of faith, I want to invite you to pray with me. If you are not a person of faith, then I want to invite you to join me at least in the sentiment of wishing for peace and justice here. Will you pray? Almighty God, we ask that you would do true justice here in this place, that you would guide us as we seek justice for these kids and for our community, that, Lord, you would help make things right here, that you would move people's hearts to make them receptive to holding people accountable, to answering tough questions, and to doing what needs to be done to make sure our kids feel safe, heard, and respected in this community. Amen.
Thank you so much. That was really, really heartfelt, really touching, and a really good message. All one we need to take to heart for sure. And I want to switch it up a little bit and bring on Karen Rodriguez. She's part of Indivisible in Bucks County. So she helps out with UVU. She helps out with a lot of different things and is a really, really valuable member of our community.
Thank you, everyone. So if you don't mind, I want to make my comments in Spanish because the Latino community is really suffering right now. So if you don't mind, we're going to pray in Spanish. If you bow your heads. Señor, yo te quiero pedir para esta comunidad que te necesita. Esta comunidad está sufriendo. Esta comunidad necesita tu ayuda y tu santa mano sobre ella. Te pido para que estas familias reciban tu paz, pero también que reciban la justicia propia sobre todo lo que ha pasado. Pido que las familias que están afectadas, que por favor reciban tu mano sanadora sobre ellos y la paz y que puedan superar lo que ha pasado. Te lo pido en tu nombre, en el nombre del Padre y del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo. Amen.
Really beautiful. Okay. So now we want to change it up just a little bit. And I have the mayor of Richlandtown, Mr. Wayne Codner.
Thank you very much for the warm reception. And I thank you all for being out here in the cold to make sure your voices are heard. The video that was released to the public is horrible. It is bad. There's no two ways about that. It is not a good look. And I don't believe that represents this area that we call home. It does not. I want to make sure that the message I bring tonight is to bring the temperature down. Have calm. Have patience. This is going to be a long process. This is not to say to turn your back on it and not to watch and to investigate and to ask questions. But it's going to take time. I think that it's really important that this area be the standard for dealing with issues like this, because this is happening all over the nation. And we are the people who can show the rest of the nation how it should be done. I thank you all for being here. God bless you. And I will continue to be here and listening for anybody who has any feelings they want to share. Thank you.
Thanks, Wayne. And just in case you didn't know, he's also running for office. So if you're interested in signing his petition, I'm sure we've got copies. Okay. Next, we have somebody that's really part of this community, you know, a Quakertown School District parent. We have Erin Rumsey.
Good evening, friends, family, neighbors, and our community. I prepared something tonight. The other night, I just went straight from the dome, and I just wanted to be really thoughtful and intentional with the message this evening. So please bear with me as I deliver it, and thank you all so much for showing up and supporting the Quakertown 5. Yes. I'm here tonight not to debate politics, but to speak about our children. The students involved in the recent protests are not headlines. They're not talking points. They are not problems to be managed. They are young people, learning, growing, imperfect, passionate, and still developing into the adults we say we want them to be. We often tell students to think critically, to care about the world around them, to stand up for what they believe in, to put their devices down, to get out and touch grass, and to re-engage with the world around them. We encourage them, but when they engage, we punish them. But when they move from passive consumption to active engagement, when they step into civic reality, we sometimes respond more quickly with discipline than with dialogue. Justice for our kids doesn't mean the absence of accountability. It means proportionality. It means consistency. It means equity and inclusion. Without equity, it becomes selective enforcement. And I feel like that's what we witnessed and are still witnessing today. Equity means recognizing that not all students move through this world with the same assumptions of innocence, the same margin for error, or the same grace extended to them. Inclusion means ensuring every child, especially children of diverse and multi-ethnic backgrounds, sees themselves reflected, protected, and valued within this district. Representation matters.
Yes, it does.
When students see adults who understand their lived experiences, who recognize their humanity without suspicion, who affirm their identity rather than question it, it changes outcomes. It changes their confidence, and it changes their futures. Students deserve equal human rights and dignity as us adults do. They are autonomous beings with developing minds and voices. They are not reputations to manage. They are not optics to protect. They are human beings in formation. They do not belong to us in the sense of ownership. They belong to all of us in the sense of responsibility. Responsibility for their safety, guidance, and for their growth. Raising children who speak up, who question, who challenge, who advocate, protects them from the worst things in the world. It builds courage, discernment, and resilience. If we expect composure from our teenagers, we must model that composure. If we expect respect, we must model respect. If we expect responsibility, we must model that responsibility. We cannot hold us to a standard of perfection. We cannot hold children to a standard of perfection while granting adults the grace of imperfection. Equity and inclusion are not statements on a website. They are daily practices. If we are serious about protecting students, especially students of color and students from marginalized backgrounds, then protection must be consistent. Protection cannot mean one standard. Peer-to-peer harassment and other civic expression that these students are being targeted with within school walls on a daily basis are unacceptable. So we are going to ask that the school board plan better in advance for events like what occurred the other day and protect our students differently. Pardon me while I turn the page. It cannot mean tolerating defensive or divisive rhetoric, whether it comes from students or adults, while claiming neutrality. Equal accountability builds trust, and inconsistency erodes it. Students deserve to feel safe, not only from physical harm, but from hostility, exclusion, and humiliation. Safety is holistic, it's cultural, and it's relational. This is not a moment to entrench division, it's a moment to practice restoration. And we're in Quakertown. Restorative practices are practiced by Quakers. So how did we get here? Restorative practices are not weakness, they are leadership. They are designed to repair harm. They build understanding and strengthen community rather than fracture it further. They teach accountability and humanity, and they unite rather than isolate. And I would ask each of you just to take a moment and reflect personally. Think of a moment in your own youth when an adult chose to see you differently. Maybe it was a teacher who chose to give you grace, or a coach that believed in you. Maybe it was an administrator who turned a mistake into a lesson that didn't disrupt your future. It enhanced it. Think of how that choice shaped your trajectory. Someone once chose to treat you with dignity instead of dismissal. Someone chose guidance instead of condemnation. Someone chose to see potential instead of a problem. That is the power we hold right now. Our students are watching how we respond. They're learning what authority looks like. They're learning whether justice is consistent, and they are learning whether leadership listens. The board has an opportunity not to simply maintain policy, but to model principled leadership, to raise the standard, to demonstrate what real equity, inclusion, representation, accountability, and courage look like in action. You can choose to preserve what is comfortable, or you can choose to be a change maker, to set an example not just for this town, but for districts beyond it. Our children deserve leadership that reflects the values we claim to teach. If we teach our students to be brave enough to speak, then we must be brave enough to listen. The measure of this district will not be how firmly it disciplines. It will be how faithfully it protects, uplifts, loves, and grows its children. They are not beneath us. They are becoming us, and they are watching. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Powerful words from a parent. Powerful words that all of us that aren't parents can take to heart as well. We have another pastor here, Pastor Kevin Compton from St. Paul's Lutheran in Red Hill. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Good evening, folks. Friends and neighbors, beloved community. My wife told me to get closer to the mic. Can everybody hear me okay? That's good. That's good. My wife and I moved up here about a year and a half ago. This is the second career for me. We chose to move up here. We moved up here from Tennessee. We're not from around here. You may occasionally detect an accent because I ain't from around these parts. But we moved here. We moved to Quakertown, bought a house here. Thanks be to God. Because this is a good place. We've been here as we were traveling through our journey together in seminary, and we chose to stay here. There's a reason why, and that is because this is a good community. It's a good place to be. It's a good place to live. So we bought a house and they gave us the 2 shiny trash cans, and here we are. Here we are. But this community is in pain. This community is hurting. The people that are gathered here tonight, you do one another justice. You do one another honor by being here for each other. We've heard words of struggle, of grief, especially the other night at the city council meeting. Many folks here are angry. Many folks here have questions. Many folks here don't feel validated by the leadership in the city, the leadership in the school. You want to be heard. You want to be heard. You want to feel as though your efforts are being recognized. You want to be heard, and you want to have justice for these young people and for this community. Well, tonight you have an opportunity. As our world seems to be becoming more and more chaotic, and the integrity and morality and the respect that we show one another seems to be crumbling around us. Witness the entirety of the internet for evidence of that. Know these things. You have eyes. You have ears, and tonight you will bear witness to how the civic leaders here perform in their roles. And you have a voice. In the coming days, your voice will matter. Your voice will make a difference. And you have each other. You are not alone. You stand side by side. In unity and in solidarity. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who your family is, where you came from. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your pocket. It doesn't matter where you sleep at night. It doesn't matter who you pray to or whether you pray. It doesn't matter what you look like, your skin color, your race, your gender expression, who you love, what it says on your birth certificate, what it says on your driver's license, or whether or not you agree with any of those documents. You are worthy. You are worthy of dignity. Dignity is inherent in who you are. You are worthy of love and justice. And tonight, you stand side by side and unify. Who you are matters. It matters most when you face hard things. Carry yourselves tonight with the spirit and the dignity that is alive inside of you. Show one another the love and respect that you yourself desire as a human being, that you yourself are worthy of as a human being. Stand together in peace. Be present in your pain, but stand together. Stand together in love. Stand together in truth. Stand together because you are not alone. Before I end, I'd like to invite everyone into a moment of silence, just a short time of silence to allow for a brief time of peace in preparation for the meeting tonight. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. May you be peace for one another.
Thank you so much. I feel the love. You know, I hope that that extends to our students, even though maybe they're not here. Obviously, they're not here, but I hope that they can feel the love from our community too, and that's what we want to. That's what we want to project on them. Even though we're going to fight for them in this meeting and in other meetings after this, we're going to keep standing up for them, but we want them to feel the love. If anyone wants to make a public comment this evening at the meeting, you do have to fill out a paper to do that. We have some out here and we have some inside the building. So if you are going to make a public comment, make sure that you fill that out and that you are ready to go when it's your turn. Okay, thanks everyone for coming. And I believe we're going to be able to go inside fairly soon. Some of us, all of us, hopefully everyone. And we're going to go from there. But thank you everyone for coming. We have some stickers up here if you want to have a sticker to support the Quakertown 5. If you haven't gotten one already, we have some buttons and some other random stickers too. So we'd love for you to show your support that way. And thank you so much.
All right, we're going to get started with the February 26th working session regular voting meeting. May we all rise to salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Terry, can we get a roll call?
Mr. Spear.
Here.
Ms. Rogers.
Here.
Mr. Hippoff.
Here.
Ms. Hahn.
Here.
Mr. Lyons.
Here.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Here.
Mr. Kern.
Here.
Ms. Marola.
Here.
Mr. Reimers.
Here.
Okay, announcements. Before this meeting, there was an executive session to discuss tax assessments and personnel-related topics. This meeting is being recorded by the board secretary. Tonight's meeting is live streamed and recorded. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the January 22nd, 2006 meeting of the Board of School Directors?
So I'll make the motion. I'll second that.
Moved by Mr. Reimers, seconded by Mr. Hippoff. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, student representatives report. Turning it over to you guys.
Hello, everyone. First off, I would like to thank all of the counselors at our school who have offered their support to the entire student body in this time of distress and division for many of our community members. Regardless of where we all stand on this issue, our counselors have stepped up to be a resource for all of us and to help our students in whatever way possible and treat all of us with respect and dignity.
First of all, I want to say congratulations to formerly known as Mr. V, who is now Dr. V, on receiving his doctorate. And thank you to all of the administrative team at the high school for their support and guidance during this time. The structure of the high school, especially in a time like this, can bring normalcy to students, helping to ease the uncertainty of this time. The whole administrative team has helped the building feel safe, supportive, and like a community. So again, I would just like to thank our high school administrators for their constant support, and especially during this difficult time. Thank you.
I want to thank Dr. Hoffman for stepping up at this time and doing such a wonderful job. She's very well spoken, and I think is handling everything that's going on very well, and I would just like to thank her.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Aiden Myers, and I'm a junior here at Quakertown High School. Before I share my opinion on what happened last Friday, I'd like to share the many reasons why I'm proud to have grown up in this community. I could talk on and on about the strong education I received from my amazing teachers and principals, the support from the local business owners who help sponsor and donate our amazing sports and music programs, the town and school maintenance workers who keep our classrooms, parks, and ball fields safe and well kept, the churches and organizations such as Freefall that give young people a place to be. I could go on and on about the many ways why I'm proud to live here, but what I've learned from being here in this community, that it is not one person nor organization that has made me proud to live here, but is our entire community. And last week, there was a breakdown within it. Like many here tonight, I learned about it through news, district communications, social media, and conversations with others. While the incident left me and many others concerned and disappointed, my hope is that we come here tonight and look for ways to reestablish our shared sense of community. As we all can see, Quakertown is a very small town, and because of that, we are very closely connected. We have the power to make meaningful change to support all of us, and we cannot do this by finger pointing and screaming at each other. As we gather here tonight to discuss a very complex issue, I'm asking all of us, students, parents, educators, and community members, to speak with respect, to listen with patience, and to honor each other's opinions. It is the least we can do for each other. We may not all agree on every issue, and we can't change what has happened, but we can agree on how we speak and how we act moving forward together as a community. If we do this, then the next time we end up on the news, I'm sure it will reflect a town who cares deeply about their people and not one that is divided. Because that is what we are about. Let's remind ourselves and let's lead by example for the future generations and for the rest of our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Eden. Moving on to standing committee reports. In the interest of time, we're going to defer all the standing committee reports to our next board meeting. That takes me into President's report, and I have tough to follow that. So thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate everybody being here. I just want to take some time to read through some of the communications that the district has sent out to our community through the channels that we have. I realize it's highly unlikely that everybody who's here has had a chance to read these communications already, as it's impossible for the school to reach everybody in the community. We don't have contact information for anybody who doesn't have students in the district. However, I believe it's important that everybody has this information that has been shared publicly before we begin tonight. So, from the message that was sent out on Sunday, February 22nd at 6 p.m., we know the events surrounding Friday's walkout have been unexpected and stressful for many of our students, staff, parents, and community members. We are sensitive to the impact it has had and the stress many are feeling. The media coverage and some information circulating on social media have made this even more challenging. Here are a few important points for context. Quakertown followed the same format used by most regional school districts in the days leading up to the walkout. Administrators met with student organizers on February 13th and February 18th to review their plans and discuss alternative ways to demonstrate the right to free speech that wouldn't disrupt the school day. To be clear, like nearly every school district across the region, it is our practice not to endorse or facilitate a student walkout during the school day for any reason. However, we also know it is our responsibility and duty to provide reasonable safety and security support for students and staff members who enter and exit our schools. When students said they were planning to hold a walkout that extended off school property, something the district as a public school system has no legal authority to stop them from doing, the administration and student organizers discussed and agreed to a route that would confine the walkout to an area in front of the high school to make it more manageable for safety and security purposes. Quakertown police were informed and, like the police departments supporting most districts around our region, agreed to provide a presence on Friday morning to support security. Throughout the week, students who indicated they intended to participate in the walkout reported bullying and were receiving threats, and our concerns about safety issues continued to build. At 9 p.m. on Thursday, February 19th, the district received what was deemed a new and concerning threat of violence. In close consultation with local law enforcement, we issued a notice before the start of school on Friday that due to known safety concerns, students should not continue with the protest. This was in no way an attempt to silence students. Instead, we were adhering to our primary responsibility to prioritize the safety of all students and staff members. We met with the student organizers on February 20th at 7:15 a.m. to reiterate our concerns about threats to safety. Around 11:25 a.m. on February 20th, just before the walkout was originally scheduled to begin, Our administrative team assembled in front of the school and prepared for the possibility that students would proceed with their walkout despite the safety concerns shared with them. Approximately 35 students left the high school building and continued off campus, which was not part of any previous discussed route. We received reports from members of the community that the students were moving through town and that some were engaging in disruptive and unsafe behavior. Our school resource officer followed the students as they left our campus. Once students left school grounds without authorization and walked into town, deviating from the planned walkout route, they were no longer under the district's custodial control or supervision, and we have almost no legal authority to regulate or investigate their behavior. Administrators were not on the scene in the borough and were not in any way involved in student arrests. While we consider our local police departments to be valued community partners, and we are extremely grateful for their support, it is important to note that they are an entirely separate entity. Here are some key points about how we will move forward. As you are likely aware, while there are many video clips, the timeline of what unfolded and how is unclear at this time. The school district does not have any additional information regarding the arrests or investigation, as the events occurred off school district property. Instead, our responsibility is to focus on creating as safe and supportive a learning environment as possible for students and staff to return to school this week. Regardless of differing perspectives about what occurred, we are committed to listening, supporting students and staff who may need to process what happened, and ensuring that everyone feels safe within our schools. We are working with the Bucks County Intermediate Unit to develop a counseling support plan for our students and staff this week. More details about the plan will be forthcoming. We have communicated with our law enforcement partners for police presence and support as we return to school. We appreciate the grace and patience of our school community. Our administrative team and many of our staff members have been inundated with hateful messages and concerning physical threats to our personal safety via email, phone, and social media. This is simply inexcusable. We have and will continue to report these threats to the appropriate law enforcement agencies. We understand there are many strong views on this issue, and we simply ask for support as we work to balance the emotions and volatility that our school community has experienced and that our students and staff will bring with them as we return to school this coming week. We anticipate there will be numerous questions, follow-up communications, and conversations in the coming days. We will do our very best as communicative and open as possible with our school community about issues related to the school district. As noted, the school district's ability to comment about matters outside of our authority and responsibility will be limited. On Wednesday, February 25th at 6 p.m., we sent out a second communication. In our continued effort to provide updated information regarding the events of Friday, February 20th, I am writing to let you know about a format change for tomorrow night's regularly scheduled school board meeting at 7 p.m. Here we are. The board is moving public comment period to the beginning of the meeting in anticipation that an increased number of residents may wish to speak this week. We were right. The board and administration are committed to listening to our school community, gathering feedback, and to continuing to be as responsive as possible, while also focusing on providing the safest and most supportive school environment for our students and staff. The school board has chosen to move all non-essential items to a special called meeting on Tuesday, March 3rd in order to offer an opportunity for district residents, employees, students, and taxpayers to provide comment on matters of concern, official action, or deliberation that are or may be before the board. Because this is a full business meeting, the school board, and not a town hall style community meeting, public comment will still be limited to 3 minutes, and we will follow our protocols for public comment as outlined in School Board Policy 903. I'm very pleased to share that our high school students have overwhelmingly been positive as they return to school this week, coming together to support each other during this challenging time. Students have taken advantage of the crisis counseling services we have offered through our school counselors, school psychologists, SAP counselors, and the Bucks County Intermediate Unit. We will continue to offer access to support services for any student who feels that it might be beneficial. We appreciate the patience and understanding of our school community as we are doing all we can to focus on student welfare and wellness as our students have returned to class this week amidst significant media attention. Thank you to our dedicated and caring staff who continue to be supportive of our students and to all in our school community who have reached out. I want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight. Now, I'm going to read a statement regarding how we're going to conduct public comment, and then we're turning this over to you because we want to hear from you. We are about to enter public comment in accordance with the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act, which provides an opportunity for district residents, employees, students, and taxpayers to provide comment on matters of concern. Before we begin, I would like to remind the public that we are an institute of education and that we should set an example of professionalism and decorum by being respectful of each other. Let's listen to Aiden. Additionally, individuals shall wait to be recognized by the presiding officer before commenting. That's me. Speakers must direct all comments to the presiding officer, also me. And anyone speaking must preface their comments by an announcement of their name, their municipality of residence, and group affiliation if applicable. The public comment session at the beginning of the meeting may be limited to not more than 30 minutes. We're going to go way past that. We're going to waive that. We may still have to limit it because we have business to conduct. The second public comment period may be limited to not more than 30 minutes. We're going to waive that too if we have time, but eventually we may have to stop. In the event that we have to stop, we will call another meeting for public comments. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes. Commenters may not cede their time to other individuals. No individual may speak more than once on the same topic in either public comment session, unless all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard and there is time remaining in the public comment period. I don't think we're going to run into that today. Please understand that you are being heard and that your comments are greatly appreciated. To ensure as many voices as possible may be heard tonight, please try to keep your comments concise. And with that, we're going to turn it over to public comment.
Nice over here.
You'll be called.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would like to make a public. Did you fill out a form? No, I didn't.
That you'll have time in the second comment section then.
Anna Stahl.
Anna Stahl?
I don't think that was Anna.
No, yes.
No, Anna's a kid.
If you're way in the back, wave your hand so we know you're here.
I don't see her. Give a yell.
Is everybody in?
Is there
I believe
anybody out?
everybody, everybody's inside.
Somebody's making their way.
We got somebody coming from the back.
Mr. O'Donnell, I do see people in the lobby, so I don't know if that's relevant.
You can
Please.
we can loop back too, and we'll put her at the back and we'll get back to her. Next.
Ashley Crowell.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Crowell. My children attend Trumbarsville Elementary and the 6th grade center. I'm proud to say that I live in Amanda Hans region. I'm a single parent and a genderqueer individual with non-traditional pronouns. One of the ways I express my androgyny is with my undercut. And I'm telling you this because I want you to know that on more than one occasion when I've gone for a run in my own neighborhood with my undercut showing, I've experienced men in loud pickup trucks loudly revving their engines at me, screaming obscenities. It's not something I could report or demand accountability for, because no one in a position of power can help that I was yelled at because I look offensively masculine from the back. I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that the escalation which occurred during the walkout last week was brought about by similar behaviors, also by men in loud trucks. Maybe even the same people that made the threats which triggered your decision to cancel the walkout. But we can't prove that, can we? The psychological warfare of those who act in hatred is real and insidious, and here we are being forced to confront it. I'm deeply ashamed to watch the infighting in the community, the name-calling and the tearing people down happening on both sides of the fence. It's certainly not sending the right message to the young people watching us. I'm deeply ashamed that the police officers charged with serving and protecting don't recognize that decades of systemic racism in this country have perpetuated their ignorance of anybody else's lived experiences of discrimination. I'm nervous about speaking here tonight, and I'm an individual that blends in and looks like a regular white lady a lot of the time. I am asking that we collectively acknowledge that there are people in this community that hate people like me and people with any shade of brown skin. I'm here despite my fear as a mother that cares about our collective trajectory, but I'm also here speaking up for anyone who's too concerned for their own safety to speak up for themselves. Our students spoke up, and it triggered unprovable intimidation, and that resulted in mismanagement of the situation by white men with ignorance of other people's lived experiences of discrimination. So what I'm asking for you tonight is to persevere for every student's lived experiences. I want to say thank you for what you do, especially those of you that confront whiteness and privilege because you're working for all of the students in this district. For those of you that are still learning what you don't know, I hope that hearing from someone like me helps to reinforce the value of dismantling discriminatory belief systems. And I ask that we all remember to consider what it is to walk in another person's shoes, remembering young people, people of color, people of economic disparity, of differing abilities, of broken homes. I ask that we remember that there's an amount of unprovable intimidation that many people experience purely because generational prejudice. I know that you care. You wouldn't be here otherwise. And I just want to say thank you again for what you do. I remain proud that my kids are under your care while they learn. This district supports my family, and I thank you for that.
My name's Wes Combs, and I live in Region 2, Trumbowersville as well. First, like a preface, what is a school director? What is a school board member? Essentially a board of directors. School district directors are guardians and stewards of the public trust. They put the interests of the local community's youth first. Though the policies they adopt, the school board members are ultimately responsible for the success or failure of local public education and all of the activities which students participate. Now, as a technician, as a manager, I'm going to approach this a little different than the gal before me. As we got to look for the root cause of what happened, all the way back to the beginning. Now, there's a breakdown in the management in QCSD. As board members, you are directly responsible for review, correction of the performance of your superintendents and the opportunity to proactively avoid all of this mess. My fear is QCSD made a decision that was influenced by pressure exerted by a radical, unhinged, racist local organization. That pressure, the public trust in existing executive administration has been destroyed after a decision to cancel the student protest. This could have been a learning experience. It could have been a lessons in civics. How does an administrator or administration earning six figures with the experience years to be in a position like that not know that these kids were going to do something? That's outrageous. I'm not privy to the threats, but common sense tells us that if the threats were believable, why not have the protest on the property? Why cancel it? Or why not have it in the gym? That's because the decision was made because of said organization and their craziness. We missed the whole ball. We whiffed. These kids know more about the state of the world and the state of the country than that same aforementioned organization.
Yep.
We will never know who said what to who and influenced who. But as looking for a root cause, The root cause is right here in QCSD.
Michael Rogers, I live in Richland Township, and we have 3 kids in the school district. Y'all are lucky I only got 3 minutes. The threat that was given was that a gun was going to be present at the walkout. None of y'all know that, but I do. I want the meeting, I want that canceled. I want that walkout not to happen because I want safety in the district. I don't want truancy. I don't want politics. If my kids know the teacher's political affiliation, you're terrible. You should be fired.
Please address me, sir.
I'll talk to whoever I want to talk to. You don't like it, walk out. There needs to be communication and transparency. A threat was made that a gun was going to be brought to the walkout. I want to be told that. I don't want to be told that there's a threat. And I don't want to be told when the gun threat comes in between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock on the 19th, I don't want to receive an email 9 hours later that's misleading and not factual. I support our police. I support our Constitution, okay? Freedom of the speech is not freedom from consequence. If you want to protest, if you want your voices to be heard, do it without violating laws, breaking policy, causing problems, blocking traffic, blocking sidewalks, assaulting each other, or assaulting the police.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Buman. I am a Milford resident and I am a proud parent of 2 children in the district. I'm here tonight because I care about this community and the standards we set for our students. I've read statements from the board members about unity, resilience, and leading by example. I share those values and I believe unity and resilience require accountability, especially when student safety is involved. The district acknowledged that safety concerns, including a credible threat, existed prior to the planned walkout on February 20th. When that information became known, it highlighted that proactive planning is critical. When emotions are high and students care deeply about an issue, it is the school's responsibility to anticipate the response and provide a safe, structured alternative. Other districts facing similar situations like Pennsbury and Neshaminy provided on-campus alternatives so students could express themselves safely while remaining under supervision. To my knowledge, we did not provide that option. When the event was canceled at the last minute without a meaningful alternative, it was predictable that students would leave campus. Instead of guiding their energy into a safer option, we left them to navigate it on their own. That felt less like support and more like withdrawal when steady guidance was needed. The risks were foreseeable and unfortunately, they materialized. This was a leadership moment and we fell short. I greatly appreciate that counseling and support services have been made available in the aftermath, but prevention is just as important as response. I am asking the board to conduct a transparent review of the full decision-making process, what worked, what did not, and what specific changes will be implemented moving forward, along with step-by-step protocols and backup options so that no future situation leaves students without a safe alternative. Families deserve clarity and a concrete plan for how situations like this will be handled in the future. It is the district's responsibility to ensure that students are not left to choose between their voice and safety. Trust is ultimately what this is about. Families trust this district to anticipate risk, to guide our students through difficult moments and keep them safe physically and emotionally. When trust is broken, the only way to rebuild that trust is through transparency, accountability, and clear changes moving forward. I urge you to show our students and community what leadership looks like. Thank you.
I appreciate the young people here tonight. I used to be one. I started, excuse me? Oh, my name is Dave Brown, as mentioned. Live in Milford Township, 28 years. And I started high school 60 years ago. I was the future. A lot has changed, but a lot stays the same. As a point of background, I appreciate your station in life, because I was there. When I was in high school, the USS Pueblo was seized by the North Korea in January of '68 with 83 service members. One died. We were annoyed. Nixon drove past my front door during the '68 campaign for president, was pelted with eggs, not welcoming. There were signs in the group, trade Nixon for the ship. A lot of people liked that idea. The Vietnam era war era continued through the 60s into about 1975. And a friend of mine from the class of '65 was a medic, and he was killed. That was upsetting. My birthday was drawn in the third draft of Vietnam. My number was 191. I wasn't called up because my number was above 95. There were 366 dates that were drawn that year because I was born in a leap year. In the spring of '68, we had political assassinations. That was very upsetting. Thursday, April 4th was a school day. Martin Luther King was killed. Especially the black students in my high school were very upset. They ran through the halls, but did not leave school and did not tangle with the police. Wednesday, June 5th, RFK was shot after he won the New Jersey primary. And he was killed just days before friends of mine who graduated the class of '68. That was annoying. Spring of 1970, we had Kent State. 4 students were killed, 9 were wounded, and it set the stage for what was going to happen with me going into college in the '70s. But I offer that as a background for a suggestion for the school board. What they did when I was your age, they invited adults into the high school, and they listened to us as teenagers, and they offered insight from their generation, and I will shut up.
Good evening. My name is David Stabanis. I live here in Quakertown for over a decade. I have 2 children who attend the Quakertown schools. I also witnessed and filmed much of the events that transpired that day. From the point the students left the school to the point that they were attacked by unidentified law enforcement was less than a half hour. I am disgusted by the egregious failures of this school district. I want to ask the school board, where are your balls? Theoretically speaking, would you cancel the next football game due to a threat? Possibly every football game, every wrestling match, every school event in general. Maybe the next math test will be canceled. Where does it end? Or does the school board have a bias? Maybe this issue wasn't important enough or didn't align with the powers that be in Quakertown. Maybe there was no threat. What was the plan before it was canceled? Was there one? Did Quakertown High School staff have a plan to support and protect the protesting students? After the students left the building, why were they abandoned by staff? After the ICE protest was canceled, why was lockdown not initiated before Pride was over? Why were safety measures not taken to protect all doors? Did the principal and school staff forget how many doors they have? How did the kids get out if there was a threat to their lives? I've heard there will be disciplinary actions taken on all students involved in the protest. What are the disciplinary actions of the school on the students who colluded with recent graduates and other adults to harass and cause a public disturbance by assaulting the protesting students' ears and lungs with their illegal air horns and modified mufflers to blow exhaust in pedestrians? Where is equal justice? Is there a plan to reschedule the protest that so many students in this school feel is necessary as a federal agency wreaks havoc in communities all throughout our nation? To the parents and other members of this community who believe students are not mature enough to have these issues, I say shame on you. Never in our history have the youth and the people in general had more access to information than the age we are living in right now. And in conclusion, like I said in the video, fuck ICE, go kids, yeah!
That's a white man with a soul, imagine that.
Carrie, can you repeat that name, please?
Lyndon Cummings.
Hi, my name is Leeson Cummings. I live in Richland Township, and my child is a student of the... Is that better? Yeah. Okay. More?
You're good.
Okay. My name is Leeson Cummings. I live in Richland Township, and my child is a student of the Quakertown Community School District. I have more questions than answers, so most of my time will just be asking questions. I respect your decision to make choices based on the safety of our children. We know that this is a polarized topic in our community, and I'm not surprised that there were threats. We've seen the unhinged comments on social media. However, there are school districts all around the area that have hosted protests without incident. The school letter canceling the event stated, "Canceling the protest is the most appropriate course of action in the interest of student safety and well-being." This is very soft language. The statement that was made after the incident stated, "We received a communication regarding a potential safety concern." It also stated, "Students reported bullying and were receiving threats." What was done about the bullying and threats made during the week leading up to this? Was there a verified, credible threat made the night before? If so, this should have been communicated in the initial letter canceling the event so parents and students could understand the full picture. Has an investigation been launched about the potential safety concern? Is that person being held accountable? We need transparency because there could still be safety concerns if this was actually credible. If there is no accountability for the people making threats against our children, then it's reasonable to assume that it will continue to happen again in the future. When I read the letter that morning that the protest had been canceled, I immediately knew that there would still be students that would choose to do it anyway. I would have. Everyone should have known that and made a plan B and a plan C. Planning for the event provided for a closed campus, no parents or community members. It planned for law enforcement presence, including perimeter security. It provided for safety zones for the kids to be in. After the cancellation, were other options provided? Because if not, you failed these kids by giving them no option other than walking by themselves into the community. And obviously having a lot of harassment, which is just too much to ask. I know this is a really hard position for you to be in, and there probably wasn't a right answer. But I'm very disappointed that it seems the school is wiping their hands of the kids who were injured and arrested. Yes. We can and must do better.
Woo!
Here, can you call the next two? Next one and then one. Okay. Call the next first and then one on deck, so we're ready to go.
Laura Foster, and then it will be Amalia Ritter.
Hi, I'm Laura Foster. I'm a I live in the community, I live in Quakertown, and I work in the community as well. And I am also one of the organizers for Upper Bucks United. We serve the communities of Quakertown, Penridge, and Palisades. Over the last week, we've had many family members, community members, people from across the nation reach out to us asking what the heck happened here. And the thing is that we don't have an answer because none of us really know what the heck happened here. This is your time to provide information and clarity with a tone of respect and love for these students. Everyone up here needs to look at this with a place of love in your heart for all of the students, including the students who were being put in chokeholds, who were being pushed on the ground and thrown in planters, while Lisa Hoffman writes a letter how she is thankful to the police for keeping them safe. So I ask you, Lisa, did you feel safe while the children were being thrown on the ground? Because I can tell you that our community is not in agreement with that. Thank you. So the tone of what was communicated out was tone deaf. The messaging of thanking the students for staying in school while ignoring your students who were out there getting brutally attacked by the police. The tone is something that should have started from the beginning. As soon as her letter came out, everyone on this board should have been like, what are we doing? Are we only here for the students that are ones that we're in agreement with? Are we for all the students? Then the students that someone here sent out your SRO officer. So the SRO officer is employed by the Quakertown Police Department. So when that person left, are they an employee of the school? Are they an employee of the Quakertown Police Department? Whose jurisdiction was that individual under as they were there watching students being thrown to the ground? These are the questions that you owe our community. That individual should absolutely not be on school property until the investigation by the DA is completed. This community has an opportunity to come together and to be able to show that we are doing the right thing. You need to start tonight doing the right thing. It is no longer a time of placating with platitudes and making statements about concern about your own safety, concerns about threats to your staff, while there are children in detention centers to this day. All of you up here should be talking to, everyone here should be talking to our DA. I know that you guys know him. We know him. Everyone should be asking for this child's release. Everyone up here should be advocating. You're here for all of the students, not just the students that fell in line with what you thought was appropriate. Moving forward, the steps forward have to be ones of accountability. Make it happen.
My name is Amalia Ritter. I'm a Quakertown Borough resident, parent of 2 students and 3 alumni of this school district. Like the rest of the school community, I received the email February 17th from Principal Van Honterdal alerting that the school has collaborated with students to conduct a student-led walkout. In essence, the principal made an agreement with minors that they could cut class and engage in a protest during instructional time. This school does not practice its own beliefs. The school website lists a shared belief which states, we believe we are responsible for preparing all students for life after graduation. After graduation, students join the real world where people don't walk off their jobs to protest. You walk off the job, you're fired. You want to protest? You do that on your own time, not company time, and certainly not instructional time. How can our children be our future if you don't work alongside parents to engage them in the basic practice to remain at work during work hours? The school website also states, we believe education is a collaboration between students, parents, and families. The principal collaborated with minors, yet where did he uphold the school's listed district belief to include the parents and families? Blanket letters don't count as parent involvement. Just last week, I had to complete 2 parent permission forms to allow my child to participate in activities to excuse them from instructional time. Where was the parent involvement in this case for parents to decide? Instead, you took it upon yourself to dismiss my parental rights. Why? You say minors should be free to express their First Amendment rights? Okay, well, if this were true, then why don't students who participate in the Good News Club be given that same opportunity during lunchtime or a study hall? Instead, you pick and choose which First Amendment right they can express. That is discriminating. School board rhymers, you also brazenly posted on Facebook that every age can protest. The principal's deal with minors to cut class to protect during instructional time unfolded into a series of events. They lost their opportunities to possible school admissions, possible scholarships, possible employment. You misused your position of leadership and influence over minors, the future that you were hired and elected to protect. It is time to responsibly act in the best interest of our students.
Hello. I'm here for the sake of the neighborhood. This has become such a politically charged issue when it should be a neighborhood issue. Caroline DiVenuto, Quakertown Borough. A lot of prayer has been put into what I have to say, and my message is for the kids. I see you and I hear you, and I'm sorry that we failed you. In the beginning of the school year, I recorded this administration breaking every federal and Supreme Court law under the sun. And you know what they did to me? They sent the district attorney's office to my house to confiscate my cell phone, to suppress the evidence of what actually is going on around here. This administration has no respect for the Constitution or the law. I'm facing felony charges for interception of an illegal wiretap, all because they wanted to prosecute my daughter for having a vape when she never had one in the first place. She missed 10 days of school, and now I'm facing jail time for videotaping the truth. But I made bail, and this is what I decided to do with my time. We need a class action lawsuit and a massive audit of their spending. I have been protesting since last year, begging for our children's constitutional rights to be honored in our school district. I have been sitting outside in my Tommy Bahama chair, holding up signs and begging parents to stand with me. This school board has done nothing to protect or prepare these kids for real life, and it shows. They told us not to come, and look what happened. Not only did they abandon these students, they insisted that we abandon them too. And I never listen to them, but the one time I do, God puts me smack dab in the middle of the chaos anyway. We are all parents who want the same thing, a bright future for our children, no matter their religion, political affiliation, or color of their skin. We live in a culturally diverse neighborhood with struggling single parents, low-income families, where every dollar counts. We are the working class. And while we are out providing for our children, this administration spends its days violating student rights, overtaxing the poverty line, and destroying the future of our kids before they graduate. This school district has stolen taxpayer funds, mismanaged trusted dollars, and continued down the same destructive path for far too long. The majority of Quakertown Borough is demographically minority, low income, or comes from a single parent household, one of the three. Yet here we are being targeted and discriminated against the most. Because of the poor leadership, the negligence of these students, more children from Quakertown Borough are added to the list of Bucks County's juvenile crime. More children are now facing jail time, charges, and a criminal record, all because this administration couldn't be bothered to stand outside for 5 minutes and hear them out. I might not agree with what was being protested, but I'm just as angry as these parents for what the children are going through. My kids have gone through the same thing. In the state of Virginia, it is illegal for the school to call the cops on the kids, but in Pennsylvania, it is the school district's first response. Whatever panic was created by the Quakertown School District when they called the police. There is no reason to call the police on our kids when you could call their parents. Every student deserves the right to speak up. We elected this joke of an administration who doesn't give a damn about these kids, and we are now facing the consequences. I will be sitting outside for the next week in my Tommy Bahama chair. Every day I will have a different sign, and I encourage everyone to come together in solidarity against the school district instead of the police. Until we hold the school district accountable for its failures, they will continue to imprison our youth. Thank you.
Am I next? Am I next? Okay. Stephen Biddle, Quakertown, 48-year member of the resident of the school district, proud parent of two alumni. I'm a retired part-time local official and part-time educator. I was a teaching assistant in the Wharton School at Penn and in Temple University Public Policy and Planning. For about 15 years, I served on the Quakertown Area Planning Committee, which is the 6 towns in the school district, as well as the East School District. So I have particular insight. I think we all should just sort of take a deep breath. We all have strong emotions about this tragedy, but I've known a number of members of the school board, and I know and I trust that you folks are diligent, resourceful, you do your homework. It's not easy to be a volunteer local official. It's a lot of work. But I want to offer as a kind of politically history-trained individual that this is really a learning moment. I challenge the children in this district and I challenge their teachers. If we call this a learning moment, let's have it be something really deep. Democracy is not simple, it's complicated. Perhaps the school district would encourage what we used to call teach-ins in the 60s in all the middle schools as well as the high school. This happens to be an election year. The young people that are turning 18 will be having the opportunity to vote for state house, legislator, state senator, U.S. Congress, lieutenant governor, and governor. I think we should specifically remember that while we have juries for criminal and civil trials, we also have what are called grand juries, where citizens are assembled as volunteers to serve for months at a time, studying and cross-examining, investigating a particular crisis or irregular pattern in local government. And I would urge the school district to seriously consider how teaching time can be set aside to do teach-ins and even to establish a children's grand jury. I'm willing to help find outside experts. I'm willing to help find historians. I'm willing to bring Pulitzer Prize-winning reporters here to cover this perhaps tragic but truly historical crisis. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lucia Simonelli. I'm a resident of Quakertown Borough and a member of Upper Bucks United Indivisible. First, I want to thank you for adjusting the agenda to move public comment to the beginning of the meeting. This is more than just procedural. I think it does send a meaningful signal that you're willing to listen first. After what occurred Friday, rebuilding trust with the community will take time, intention, and sustained effort, and this is an example of one small but important step to make that possible. It feels to us right now that the institutional response, however, has been imbalanced, punishing the most vulnerable and protecting those with more power. I understand firsthand that there may be a lot of advice to play it safe and not take a stance, advice to choose non-committal words, and to evoke the ideal of due process to shield from the truth of the violence that we have all seen, and the confusing response to lock children up for days and days, and the infuriating silence regarding the accountability of the adults who threatened and law enforcement who escalated. We recognize that much of this falls outside of your jurisdiction, but there remain many unanswered questions about the decisions of the school and school district, the sequence of events leading up to Friday and on Friday that are important to have clarity around and to give students an idea of what they can expect in the future. Right now, there is a lot of fear, and uncertainty does not help. Justice can be uncomfortable for those in power, but it is the only way to heal this community. Thank you.
Laura Foster.
That's okay.
Kelsey Nielsen.
Thank you. My name is John Waldenberger. I do not live in the district, but I own a business in the district. Many of you know who I am. And here I am tonight breaking the cardinal rule of owning a business, speaking at a public government meeting. Unfortunately, it's not something for fun. It's because our children, it's because of our children. Many of these kids I have known for years. They have come, I've seen them grow up, and I am deeply disturbed at what I am seeing happen to these kids. Yes, they may be children. They're not property. Children have rights, First Amendment rights. There is no age restriction in the Constitution that says you have the right to this, unless you're this age. No. Sorry. It's not how it works. And frankly, I think this district has failed those kids, and we saw that on Friday. And I'm not here to point fingers, but I think things could have been done a lot better and a lot different. And as educators, I think this is a teaching moment. And I hope this is a moment to learn and decide how to, approach something like this a lot different. Because, we were all kids, and we were all those kids' age at one time or another, either recently or many years ago. And we know how we were at that age. And if there's one thing that's tried and true with kids at that age, they're going to rebel. And whether it's something that we agree with as their parents or not, as a community or not. And I think the best thing that educators can do is to support them in those decisions any way possible, whether that educator agrees with them or not, because that's how these kids learn. Lost my train of thought here because that's how these kids learn, and I hope that they'll be supported. I'm hoping that the kids that are being punished for walking out will not, if they haven't already been punished, will no longer be punished by the district. I hope any reprimand that is on their record currently because of this will be removed. And I hope we can do better, move on. Thank you.
After Kelsey, Anna Stahl.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Nielsen, and I'm here. If you recognize, I want to note that none of the student protesters are in the room. Do you know why? They do not feel safe. They do not feel safe in this town because they are experiencing, all of the children of immigrant families are being called racial slurs at school right now, so they're not safe.
Can you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm Kelsey. Sorry. I'm gonna let this young woman speak.
Your time to somebody else.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. She's the sister of one of the protesters, and I wanted to make sure the protesters' voices were heard. Is that not okay?
You're not supposed to cede your time, so you're ceding your position in line. Do you sign up to speak?
Yeah, that's fine. Can I give it to her? Is that not okay?
You need to sign up to speak. I'm sorry.
Let her speak. Paper right here.
Well, I'll read the words of one of the student protesters in the meantime. We want people to know, this is a direct text message from the student. We are in a group chat with all the organizers, the 3 girls who organized the protest. This is from one of the other students that's also in the group chat. We want people to know that our intentions going into planning this protest were not to cause any harm. We came in completely peacefully. We wanted to bring light to something we believe is important and deserves to have awareness. Everyone's voice should be heard. Now, it is a tragedy what happened. But what is also a tragedy is that these kids are being treated as the criminals instead of the killer cop. This man, I wouldn't be surprised if this cop has killed someone. I wouldn't be surprised if this cop is a pedophile, a child abuser, someone who has harmed his own children and other children in the community. Because if he can put children in a chokehold in daylight and beat the crap out of a kid, because the kid that's still in detention, there is video of him beating her in the head, punching this child in the head, breaking her glasses, blood everywhere. There is video evidence, and that child is behind bars. But that cop still has a job and is on active duty and can cause harm in the community. Who is the real threat? The children are the threat or the cops? Who is the real threat to this community? Because if the cops can do that and get away with it, that's okay. So the cops, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, you're good. What I want to say is this. The other thing is that allegedly from the students, they all have sent me screenshots of a picture of a gun that was sent to the school. It was a white child named who sent a picture of a gun and said he was going to shoot up the protesters. Okay, sorry. But that child, if a child made a terroristic threat and he is free, I want to understand how a terroristic threat is less of a crime than a child protesting peacefully. Thank you.
Anna Stahl. Aaron Rumsey.
Good evening. Aaron Rumsey, Richlandtown Borough. Proud parent of 2 Quakertown Community School District students, not parents. I'm here to speak about our children and about what leadership looks like in moments like this. The students involved in the recent protests were teenagers. They're learning, growing, and developing the very civic awareness we say we want them to have. This moment is not just about discipline. It is about how this district defines safety, equity, and accountability. This moment is, Justice for our students means proportionality. It means consistency. It means equal protection under our policies. So tonight, I'm asking the board for specific action. First, commit publicly to restorative practices in response to the protest. Prioritizing dialogue, mediation, and educational outcomes over punitive measures that could follow students long after graduation. Second, when implementing restorative processes, consider outsourcing facilitation to trained, neutral professionals, particularly facilitators who reflect or deeply understand the multi-ethnic and cultural backgrounds of the students most impacted. Representation and cultural competency matter in conflict and in the resolution of it. Students are more likely to engage honestly when they feel seen and understood. Third, conduct and release a transparent review of how student safety is handled during large-scale events, including coordination with law enforcement, so families understand protocols, boundaries, and accountability measures going forward. Fourth, reaffirm and visibly enforce anti-bullying and anti-harassment policies with consistency. If slurs, intimidation, or targeted harassment occur in our schools, they must receive the same urgency and accountability as any other policy violation. And let me tell you, this is coming from my home, not just my interest in the community. Fifth, expand mental health resources for students affected by conflict, discipline, or community tension. Safety is not just physical, it is emotional, and it is cultural. Equal accountability builds trust, inconsistency erodes it. Students are watching how we respond. They are learning whether authority listens. They are learning whether justice is consistent, and this is your moment to create a ripple effect that extends far beyond our district. Moments like this define institutions. How will you use it?
And then Rebecca Mandato.
Good evening. I'm Shannon Crawley. I've always wanted to speak to you. Unfortunately, not today. I live in Quakertown Borough. I have 4 daughters in the school district. The first thing I want to say is to the students here, I'm actually here for you more than anyone. I am a teacher. I've worked in public school, private school, charter school, taught my own children a lot before they came into the school district. I want to mention just a few things. The school district is a fishbowl. You are an emblem of our society. You cannot control everything, and I know that. How do I know that? Because I do it every day. You reflect this. And unfortunately, you can't control all of this. And in our community that started by Quakers, by the way. If you look right there, Quakertown, Quakers. Do we know the spices? Yes. Simplicity, peace, integrity, community, equality, and stewardship. Equality, community, equality, just going to say that again, and peace. And this walkout started as a peaceful walkout and was supposed to be that. My school where I work currently was going to have a peaceful walkout as well. We didn't stop the students, but what we did do was we talked to them. We, who did not indoctrinate them, just like your teachers are not indoctrinating the students, we talked to them and said, we're worried about your safety. This is what's going to happen. This is what's not going to happen. And actually at our school, we have a lot of diversity. A lot of our kids come to our school because they can't live here anymore. They cannot go to Quakertown School District anymore. You know why? Because of the racism, because of the homophobia, because of the sexism. And it's not from the teachers. It's from the community. It's from the students who are yelling the N-word walking by. My daughter at Strayer just the other day, she heard a boy, a white boy, yell at a student of color the N-word. This just happened right after this protest. She was afraid to say anything. She didn't say anything. I'm here to say it right now. And this happens on the daily. This has been happening since my kids have been in this school district. So these kids have come out. They want to say something. We need to protect them because they are getting microaggressions on the daily. And if you don't know what a microaggression is, look it up. Okay? We've already gotten some from probably the first speaker, who was a very well-spoken presenter, by the way. Thank you, you made me cry. So I want to say thank you to the school district in some ways, really, because you really can't do it all. You can protect our kids. You can stand up for them. You cannot charge them with anything further. And you can be there for them, just like their teachers, who are not indoctrinating them, have been doing all this time. Thank you.
Rebecca Mandato.
This one? The little one. I mean, there's tons to choose from. Yes, name and residence, please.
Oh, Rebecca Mandato, resident. Good evening. My name is Rebecca Mandato. I stand before you tonight not as an adversary, not as a partisan voice, but as a mother raising children in the Quakertown School District here in Quakertown. This week, something fragile cracked in our community: trust. Our students believed they were participating in a peaceful act of civic expression. They believed they were supported. They believed they were protected. And then hours before the event, supervision was withdrawn. No direct calls to parents of children that left their protection. No clear explanation of the risks. Children walked out of school doors into a situation the institution itself had deemed unsafe, without the safeguards that they thought were in place. If there was a known threat, why were families not directly warned? Why were parents not called as their children left campus? When safety is uncertain, communication cannot be vague. It must be immediate. It must be direct. It must be responsible. We are not debating politics tonight. We are discussing safety. We are discussing stewardship. We are discussing whether parents can trust the systems entrusted with their children. 5 minors were arrested. 1 adult was arrested. An adult who appeared to intervene when a young girl was placed in a headlock by a man not visibly identifiable at that moment as law enforcement. I have not seen the lights on.
Please address me.
I have not seen the lights on before the incident, after the incident, and how are the kids going to know necessarily that he came out of that car? Were they knowing? I'm just saying. 5 minors were arrested. Oh, sorry. 1 adult arrested who had to protect the children we trust police to keep safe. That 1 person that was arrested. The man was later identified, I'm losing my spot. 1 adult was arrested who had to protect the children. That man was later identified as Police Chief and Borough Manager Scott McElree. He was the unidentified officer. While children sleep under court-imposed restrictions, separated from normal life, frightened about their futures, the official responsible for public safety sleeps peacefully in his own home without public consequence or clarification. As a mother, I cannot reconcile that. Why is it that an unpaid pedestrian, the 1 adult arrested, appeared more compelled to protect a child in that moment than the official entrusted with protecting them? Why was the instinct force instead of de-escalation? Oh, there's so much more I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Olivia Burke, and then Krista Evans. Excuse me.
Hi, my name is Olivia Burke. I'm from the Richland Township. So I am a 2018 graduate of Quakertown Community High School. In 2018, I was one of the students who helped organize the walkout for the March for Our Lives. That walkout was coordinated with school, with teachers present. We worked for weeks to make sure it went off safely. I don't understand how this could have happened to these students. And you can look internally at what the issues were about. Obviously, they're both political issues. You look at the students who were organizing. These were children of color that we were not trusting to, or I understand there was a call for safety. We had safety threats at the 2018 March. We had members of the public who were saying despicable things about us before, during, after, who showed up. We had police officers protecting us at that time. I do not understand why we were using the police to persecute these children. I just can't understand how that was, and I don't understand how the school's instinct was to call the police on these kids. I also think that we need to have more clarification. What was the threat? Why was it not communicated to these students properly? What was communicated to these students? I want to know how we failed to contact parents in this instance? How did we fail to just communicate all of this? Ultimately, I want to know why these kids weren't given the same support that me and my peers were given. I just think it's a complete failure. And what needs to happen after this is an independent investigation into how we are communicating in these instances, what the chain of command is, what is going through all of this. We need to know how we are communicating to the parents, and an investigation needs to be done into why nothing was told to these kids, why they were not really given a choice other than having it shut down. We also need to know why the response is to increase police at the school for these students after they've seen a fellow student be brutalized by a police officer. How are you supposed to feel safe going to school with more police force there? I don't understand how that is the solution. I also just feel, again, the responsibility, obviously, of the school is to educate these students, but it is also to protect them. Yeah.
Krista Evans, Quakertown Borough. My name is Krista Evans, and I am a graduate of Quakertown High School class of 2017. First, I want to say how proud I am of these students who chose to use their voices. These students exhibited courage and bravery for literally everyone standing up for something adults are too scared to even post about on their social media platforms. I used my voice when I was a student here too. I am appalled that almost 10 years later, these kids are still enduring the racial and prejudice atmosphere in this town. I moved to the United States when I was 7 years old. I was adopted by a white family from Boston, Massachusetts, and we moved to Quakertown from Honduras. This has been my home ever since. But my journey here began with bullying at Tehican Valley Elementary School. Students mocked my accent, my hair, and my skin color. In 5th grade, during a lesson about civil rights and racism, a student called me a racial slur. I'll say it out loud. I ran to a teacher's aide in tears, and her response was, "Well, you are one." I will never forget that moment, and I will never forget the first educator who heard my cry and defended me and held that adult accountable. Mr. Gottschalk, I see you in here tonight, and I thank you. By high school, things didn't improve. Students were told us to go back where we came from, waved American and Trump flags in our faces, and shouted racial slurs. This isn't the first racial incident that was widely reported. There was an incident during a game against Cheltenham High School that brought negative attention to our district, where another racial incident occurred. I remember when the district hired its first black principal, Mrs. Colbreth. She brought the Department of Justice into the high school to address racial slurs and issues among students. That alone speaks volumes about what was happening in the building and the community. I share this not to reopen old wounds, but to make one point clear. These issues are not new. And it is heartbreaking to see that years later, students are still standing here to fight to be heard. I hope and I pray that you take this moment seriously, that you have the courage to stand up for the students who feel unheard, because the little girl I once was is still inside of me, and she is grieving that this little town still mirrors the one thing that she struggled in years ago. Please do better for them.
Hi, my name's Diana Cortez, but a lot of people know me at school as Danny. I am a junior at Quakertown High School.
Where do you live?
Milford. I came here, I'm part of my family, and it's very distressful to see what happened. And I truly have no words for what happened, except for it was absolutely disgusting that whatever happened, happened. I have seen a lot. I have seen a lot of videos. I have seen a lot of posts. And it's put in words someone attacking a 14-year-old girl that just so happens to be colored and has no defense against a grown man.
White privilege.
White privilege.
Yeah.
And
That's how you do it. White privilege. That's how you do it.
if I'm frank, I'm very nervous to be standing up here, but
You're doing great.
thank you. And sorry if I get emotional, it's just a lot. But it's always pondering to me. I joined the debate club last year, and I've always heard that how you say something can sometimes be more important than what you say. How do you put a protest was canceled instead of postponed, giving the students another opportunity, knowing that they have a right to speak, instead of telling them, no, you can't go. And I understand it was a safety threat, but how do you just put it in simple words? Oh, there's just a minor threat. Do you just think that we're dumb, that we can understand? If something's at risk, please tell us. And it's just, I am a big part of the music program, and I'm wearing a shirt called Resistance and Rebellion. I'm wearing all white, because I know that my skin color may be discriminated against at school. And sorry. How can I go to school knowing that there's a chance that something might happen to my family while I'm there? Something might happen to me. Someone might say something to me. Something might happen to my 6-year-old little brother. Because he has a different skin color that isn't white. I fear for my family. My family fears for me. How can I sit here knowing that 35 students are fighting for my life and for their rights? I cannot stand here and pretend that nothing is happening, or pretend that the police are right, because that was absolutely disgusting what happened. Thank you.
Hello, Emily Gasbrock, Quakertown Borough. I have super social anxiety, so if I get shaky, that's what it is. I apologize. If I sound frustrated, I am. I offered to come up here to finish Rebecca's message for her because she didn't get to, and I agree with it. And then I might have a few words myself. Some of these children are now under a house arrest, facing serious charges. Their families are navigating fear and uncertainty while you all sit here. And still, there has been no full public explanation. When minors are involved, clarity is not optional. Let that sink in. When force is used against students, transparency is not optional. Let that sink in. When parents are afraid to speak, something foundational has been shaken. Our children are protected by the Constitution, but beyond legal protection, they are owed moral protection from all of us. They're not asking for conflict. We are not asking for conflict. We are asking for restoration. We are asking for independent review, and not to diminish authority, but to preserve it. Because authority without accountability for every white man as well erodes trust. White man was me adding that in. Don't want to put that on Rebecca. Right now, many parents are not sleeping peacefully. I am one, and my kid's supposed to go to Quakertown High School in the future if I decide to stay in the district. The elementary school has failed me when they bullied Dr. Friedman out, when Dr. Friedman bullied Dr. Lesher out. I'm stuck with what I have now. God bless him. And I don't know if I can make it in this district. Our children deserve safety that is visible, for our families deserve communication that is honest, and this community deserves leadership worthy of trust that we place in it. Let this moment not define us by fracture, but by the courage to correct what has been broken. Thank you from Rebecca. And I also just want to say this. If you guys knew that there were going to be threats and anti-protests and discourse among the students within the school, why not try to get both sides to do their own protests on the same day? Why don't you actually teach them what it looks like to peacefully protest? I know that we don't agree and people are yelling over people over here, but we're all still here. We all learned somewhere. I actually learned in school what it meant, and I did those things. I was taught, I was encouraged. What are you guys teaching our kids? You have them sitting on computers all day. My son has been able to access boobs, thongs on his computer, on his school computer. Yeah, no protections over that. Where are you guys going to give our kids the knowledge to actually be able to voice for themselves safely? And are we going to give them the community to do it? I would urge that you do give students a chance to protest and do it safely. And I'd encourage maybe getting the parents involved as well this time. If I would have known that you guys were to cancel, I would have just gone as a citizen myself just to make sure everything was okay. And unfortunately for me, I know how to de-escalate. I'm a big girl. I'm not a mean MAGA man bully, okay? I don't need to beat on kids to feel big and to feel safe. And the chief of this community, chief of police of this community, as well as the borough manager, should not be doing that either. He needs to face consequences, especially if you guys are gonna, or especially if the kids are gonna face consequences still, which they should not. He should absolutely be removed from his position, both positions.
Conspiracy against their rights.
Oh, it's all against their rights. But you know what? Once again, look at all the white faces we have on this board as well. So I've stood in front of these people before, and I've actually had most of them looking at their paper. This is the most eye contact I've ever gotten, so I really appreciate it this time. I had to call out Dr. Friedman because he wouldn't make eye contact with me for a second when I was speaking directly to him. Thank you very much for the platform.
Robin TV.
Hello, good evening. Robin Ty, Quakertown Borough, homeowner for over 30 years, and parent of 3 graduates, 2 of which own their own homes now. I've lived here for over 30 years. When I saw what happened the other day, the first thing came over was a video from inside of Sunday's restaurant. After 30 years of living here, I didn't recognize the chief either by his clothing, his uniform, or his behavior. Certainly not. I feel that day it was our responsibility to protect our children while they were exercising their rights. If there was a threat to the children, it shouldn't have been called off. The sheriff should have been called in. He should have been there to observe the whole situation. There wouldn't be false accusations against these children. I hope the police officer would have stayed in line and everything would have turned out better in this whole situation. It could have been handled better. I also have repeatedly heard accusations against these children. As a longtime standing member of this community, I think I've seen every angle of what were happening out in front of us Sundays, but I'm yet to see a video of one child committing a crime that day. So I'd like to ask everybody in this room, would the police chief's time been better spent working with the board to find out who made the threats that day? Or where he was at the time that this tragedy happened? Thank you, folks.
Great. That's everybody who signed up for public comment.
Point of order, there are actually representatives from the Hispanic community that have not been allowed to speak yet.
They didn't sign up? If they haven't signed up, we're...
They did sign up.
If your name has not been called for public comment, it's either because you do not live in the municipality here.
They represent the Hispanic students who are they're not feeling like they can have.
We're gonna take a 5-minute recess. We're gonna take a 5-minute recess.
Just let her speak.
Just let her speak.
Let her speak on behalf of the Puerto Rican community.
Let her speak.
Has this person signed up?
Yes.
What is the name of the person who signed up?
Right here.
What's your name?
My name is María Gonzalez. I'm speaking on behalf of LULAC. I did sign up.
Okay, LULAC is the organization you're speaking
Yes.
on behalf of. Thank you.
Yep. We have it, I'm sorry, it says Philadelphia. We just took it off the stack not knowing because we weren't familiar with the organization. Please come up.
Not an excuse.
Wow. Just gonna take this off. Hi, everyone. My name is Mari Gonzalez. I serve as the Pennsylvania State Director for LULAC. It's the oldest and largest civil rights organization for Latinos in the country. I stand here with the support of my national president and CEO. And one, I had something written here, but I have adjusted. You know, I see that there is a crowd of people here, and whether or not people feel the same way, you're invested in your community. I see that as an asset and a growth. And I think that your board is well positioned to be, you know, we can't change what was done, but what happens forward can be changed with your board and how you choose what your decisions are next, and particularly to support these children. I want to acknowledge that this was not the only place where protests happened that day. Protests happened across the state and across the country, but the results here were different. And that's not to scrutinize the school. This is speaking about one individual, and I see a lot of individuals here who are invested in this community. So we are here because of the response of the chief of police. It did not calm the situation, it escalated it. And instead of preserving peace, we saw a student be assaulted. And I believe that these are children, right? And so we should not hold children, right, to a higher standard than we should hold an adult that has been trained for moments like this. We are spending time and resources on something that should have never happened. Your time should be better used. And so what I come here to say, I hope that you will think about how you can be a bridge, how you can be supportive to the solution of this. Further scrutinizing these kids will not instill trust in the community, will not help solve this any further, and this issue is not going away. So you are in a position of power. And I stand here in support of all the organizations that are here locally and behind them. They're leading this work. I do believe that our children should not be criminalized for civic engagement. It's so important for them to be engaged. That they should have never been placed in that decision, and that all of you should be outraged, but productive, right? Where can we work through this? The children are not the problem. They are the future, and we should not stand while their rights are compromised. This is when they start to understand if they can trust you in government, if they can continue to believe in what we've built here. So I ask of you to please think about the kids. Do not, please release all the kids, or be in support of releasing the kids. Take a position on it. Be in support of and take a position on the charges being dropped. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a 5-minute recess. We're having some technical issues.
Just install this here. She's been called twice.
Okay.
She's right there.
I couldn't hear what you said. That's why I was messaging you.
Yeah, just let me know. Call her.
Terry, can you, I believe Anna Stahl is here. Can you call that name one more time?
Dave, now we've gone and done a recess. When we come back, let's bring up matters.
I can't hear what you're saying.
I said we've called a recess and people are moving around. So let's call time.
Anna Stahl.
Oh, okay. We're here. Okay. And he was the other.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anna Stahl. I live in the borough, and I am a current student at Quakertown Community High School, and I'm really upset. I am telling you right now that I sat in my physics classroom and I watched the videos of my fellow classmates being choked out on the street by our police department, and I have a lot of respect for our police department, but what happened is not okay. It's not okay. And I watched it, and it was so upsetting. I heard the boys, or not all of them, but a good amount of them through the hallways in the next coming periods, watching the videos and laughing and calling the protesters racial slurs in the hallways of Quakertown Community High School. And it's not okay. And there needs to be change. And I'm telling you, I tried to go out. I wanted to go out, and I was not able to. But I just want to say that there needs to be more transparency with our students. I was ready the morning of the day it was supposed to happen. I didn't have a sign, but I was ready. And when they called it off, I knew that I was going to continue to do it because that's not the person I am. And I am disgusted at what happened. I understand that not all parties were in the correct, we're not all correct, we're not all right, but I'm telling you that it is the adults' responsibility to protect our children. They are kids that were choked out, a 14-year-old girl that was choked out on Friday, and that's not okay. And it was a big disappointment. What happened, I feel like the school needs to take some accountability for what happened to my fellow classmates. I know some of the people who got arrested and some of the people who are still in there right now, and it is disgusting what is happening. It is horrible, and I want more communication. I want transparency, because listen, you can't say that it's just a safety issue. Listen, I'm telling you that if we knew that there was a gun threat to school or something like that, then I assure you that many students would not have gone out because we understood the threat. But there was no communication and none of it. So I ask you today for more, to release those kids first off, and I want more transparency within my school. Listen, I was there. I wasn't there, but I was in the school and I watched it as it was happening in my classroom, and it was horrible. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, we're going to go and address our board business. We're going to try and get through that as quick as possible, and then we will open up the general public comment at the end. And thank you all for your comments. You've all been heard.
All right, Terry, are you up and running again? Okay. So we're going to move into item 7, QE project update consent agenda. We've got the QE parking lot consolidation and street vacation plan, the QE playground relocation, and the 6th grade center locker rooms.
I'll make a motion to approve A, B, and C of the QE project update consent agenda.
I'll second. Mr. Spear motion, Mr. Hephoff second. Any discussion?
I do have a couple comments. The number A, the parking lot consolidation and street vacation plan, it is a little misleading, the title there. Essentially, there's an alleyway, which is kind of the driveway to the goes by the pavilion in there. It's still a street listed on the borough plan as a street right of way. There's multiple lots within the QE lot. This essentially just combines them all to one lot and gets rid of that. It allows the borough to get rid of that paper street is what they call it.
Thank you for that clarification. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Up next, fiscal consent agenda. We have budget transfers for October 2025, budget transfers for November and December 2025, bills list for January 2026, E to Z party rental contract for the high school annual college fair and Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs agreement for the 2025-2026 high school students of the month. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion and second by Mr. Hippoff and Mr. Reimers for the fiscal consent agenda items A through E. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Moving on to the facilities agenda. We've got the carnival, which is the potential location for the Quakertown Fire Department to utilize school district property. I'm going to ask for a motion just on that.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Spear, seconded by Mr. Lyons.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
You may, we're now in discussion.
Fantastic. The actual recommended action doesn't have where at, if there's a blank line on the agenda.
Which is why I pulled this out for discussion.
Yes, sir.
So do you need
So I
to fill that in
believe,
on my motion?
does he need to fill that in on his motion?
Yes, okay, I will amend my motion
Thank you.
to, a motion to approve the Quakertown Fire Department to utilize the district property at and along 5th Street behind the high school from June 3rd to June 7th, 2026. Additional time for setup and breakdown will be determined.
And is that clear enough, Mr. Christian?
In the blank, it's just 5th Street. It's just along 5th Street behind the high school. And do we have a second for the amendment?
Yeah, just bear with me for a second.
Same second?
Sure. Sorry.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to amend. Any discussion?
I believe this was due to some scheduling conflicts between the borough and the fire department. So this is why it's coming to district property. They need somewhere to hold it.
Yeah, so the firefighters approached us to ask for our assistance in providing a location for the carnival this year, as due to some conflicts between the fire department and the borough, their standard location of the ice rink had been double booked with a concert, and they were being told they were unable to have the carnival at their normal location. If they move the carnival to another date, they lose the contract that's already signed, and they will likely no longer be able to conduct carnivals with that vendor. So this is a Save the Carnival in Quakertown action of good faith by the district.
Mr. Lyons, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, if I believe the borough said they will do everything that they need to as far as electric and running lines and things of that
Yes,
nature.
we have, full disclosure, I am on the Carnival Committee with the Fire Auxiliary. We have been in communication with the borough. They've been very helpful in saying that they will make sure that if we have to do whatever they have to do to support us for power and for water, they will do that. They have also verbally committed to me that they will help us if there's any damage to the field we're using immediately that needs to be resodded or corrected in whatever way, that they will help us with that as well. The fire department really is thankful, very thankful. The members that were through this weren't able to attend tonight, so I'm speaking on their behalf that they were incredibly thankful for the district to help us out with this, and we are going to do everything we can to promote this and do this in a way that is respectful to the community and it's just a great event for the community.
And the borough's going to handle the permits and everything else? Or
It's Are you asking me?
Yeah, I guess that's a question that hasn't been answered, I guess, for Mr. Garden as well.
Well, I mean, permits would be the responsibility of the fire department, because they're the ones that are conducting the carnival. They may just need evidence to the borough that the district consents to the location.
And that was my understanding.
I'm sure we'll do what we've done in the past as far as whatever permits and things they've done. It's been held in the borough for years, and I'm sure that we're able to provide all that.
Yeah, I was just trying to get clarity, so we need to alert our facilities people that they.
We're having a meeting with the borough on Monday night, once this is approved, to start getting all the rest of it buttoned up.
Okay.
We need to get our planning done as well.
Any other discussion? We have two motions before us. The first is to amend the original motion to the location of along 5th Street behind the high school. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion has been amended. Now the motion is before us for 9A Carnival to be held at, as the motion was written. Aye. All in favor?
Hold on. I just want to clarify. Sorry, I wanted to make sure. It's the 2nd through the 6th.
Oh,
I thought you said it wrong. I wasn't sure. I had to actually contact my.
I read it as it's printed on.
Correct. I think it was presented incorrectly, and we were going to correct it when they were here, but they weren't able to make it tonight. So I literally had to text them while we're saying, make sure I know the dates of the carnival. So it is Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay. So would that extra day just be allowed to be for cleanup and tear down?
No, it's the day we're holding the carnival. It's just listed in the record. That's all. That we will. Our plan was always to go Tuesday through Saturday.
Should we just? Can I just change my motion from the second to start over?
Yeah. Withdraw your motion. All right, second withdraw. Let's start at the beginning.
I will withdraw my motion.
Mine's the second withdrawal.
Okay. Okay. So now I will make a new motion to approve the Quakertown Fire Department to utilize district property at along 5th Street behind the high school from June 2nd, 2026 to June 6th, 2026. Additional time for setup and breakdown will be determined.
Okay, I'll second. I'm sorry, during discussion, I'm just gonna ask, if there's truly a question of clarity, I see that our athletic director's in the back, and he can tell you the name of the field.
I don't think we need
Okay, I just wanna make sure, because there's 2 fields and we don't want clarity on this.
It doesn't matter which one.
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
Okay, so we have a, Ms. San Angelo is gone. Pick it up. It's not a board meeting that we don't have amended motions here. We're terrible at this.
We've got a streak of like 3 years.
I was the first, Joe was the second.
Mr. Spear was the first, Mr. Lyons was the second. Okay, now, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Can I get a motion for facilities agenda items 9B, C, D, E, F, and G as written?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Discussion. That was motion by Mr. Lyons, second by Ms. Rogers.
I would like Mr. Christine to come up and just explain the custodial contract, if you would mind. Please.
Yes, SSC's current contract expires on June 30th this year, so we're discussing whether to go out for RFP and/or accept the offer that they have given to the board here, which is outlined in the executive content. So I think in the facilities committee, recommendation was to offer them a 1-year contract at this time.
And what's the benefit of the 1-year contract versus going to RFP? Do we need that time to establish the RFP?
We have the RFP basically built, but in 2023, I think I have outlined in there, we got an additional price from another contractor. It was approximately, I think, $80,000 or $100,000 higher. So instead of transforming into a new management system, we were going to try to give them another chance because they have been improving. They offered to hire an assistant director to help out Laird, which is currently here. So we'd have more supervision, which I think is going to help out the contract.
They stood here twice and said the same thing over and over again. We've all had questions. That's why I'm wondering that.
Yeah.
I think you're making a good faith effort in not increasing our price for the second year in a row. And I believe with the extra supervision, that's showing that they're willing to put more into it. So I'm all for extending their contract.
And I know I've said it in the facilities meeting, but we're making sure with this that they're not taking raises away from their staff. Is that correct?
Confirmed.
Thank
you. Yep.
We also had an issue with their pay at hiring for their staff. I recall the last time they were here. Has that been addressed?
Excuse me, I didn't hear what you said.
Last time they were here, we found discrepancies in their hiring starting salary for their staff, where people who were getting hired the first year were getting the exact same amount as people who were in the third or fourth year with the company. So has that been addressed?
I believe all of the hiring and the raises have been addressed, but I do have Kenneth Gray here from SSC to speak to answer any questions that you would have. Or are you okay with what you have received?
If you believe it's been addressed, I'm going to trust you on that.
Yes,
But
it has been addressed.
that was just one of our concerns the last time Mr. Gray was here.
I'm good.
I have one other item I just realized, and Mr. Christine, please. Item C is the board resolution. It's a motion to approve one of the resolutions as presented. I believe your recommendation, because there are three resolutions presented there, your recommendation to this board is the 6th grade center window replacement project resolution. Is that correct?
Option 1, correct.
Option 1.
And that resolution would match the option 1.
And I believe on G, there's also a choice to make, so I think we may have to do these all separately.
Well, that's my question for Mr. Garten. With the discussion that Mr. Garten, with the discussion that the resolution as written, or the motion as written is motion to approve one of the resolutions as presented, and there are 3 resolutions presented. We've had a discussion that the recommendation is the 6th grade center window replacement project. Do we need to modify the motion?
You need to modify the motion because the motion wouldn't dictate which one of the options you were accepting.
Okay, so
Somebody can make an amendment to specify that.
I think the easiest thing for us to do here is then withdraw motions and do these one at a time.
Correct.
Was that me? Who made the motion?
I think I did. I'll withdraw it.
Mr. Lyons did.
I think you made the second.
Withdraw the second. Okay. So can I get a motion for capital projects?
I'll make the motion.
Grants.
I'll second.
Motion to approve option 1, single site, 6th grade center. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? So that one was motioned and seconded as written for item 9B.
I was.
Mr. Hippoff was first. Second was Mr. Reimers.
Under 9B,
Good to go. All right, now I'm looking for item C, board resolution. I'm asking for a motion to approve the 6th grade center window replacement project resolution as presented.
I will make that motion for the 6th grade center window replacement project as recommended.
Motion by Mr. Spear. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Rogers. Discussion. Rob, do you want to tell us a little bit about the 3 options and why you're recommending the 6th grade center window replacement project?
Sure. Previous at a facilities meeting, we went over the fact that the windows in the 6th grade center have been leaking water significantly in certain parts of the building due to certain winds and temperature drops. So with that being said, the windows are an option along with, I believe there's 3 rooftop units also indicated on that, and also the fiberglass or metal panels that we're going to put around the outside to stop the water infiltration. So that's the options that we're recommending at a one building site rather than doing multiple sites across the district with one project.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Me,
Sorry, Roberta. Rogers.
Moving on to item 9D, the custodial contract. Motion to approve a 1-year contract extension with SSC.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Hippoff with the motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Spear with the second. Discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Can I get a motion for item 9E, a motion to approve clearing the path at Trumbarsville Elementary as recommended by the administration?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Reimers.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Hahn. Discussion.
I think this is great.
Love it.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the Singer quote as presented for the high school dishwasher?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Hippoff makes the motion.
Second.
Ms. Rogers with the second. Discussion? All those,
A little under budget, just a little, 5% or so. It works, thank you.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, last one on facilities. Motion to approve ASL mechanical bid of $575,949 for the replacement of the chiller.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Spear.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Hippoff.
Mr. Christine, what was the, what did we have budgeted for the chiller?
That was 800,000, I believe, for that
We're coming in
project.
around 576.
That's correct. We had, I think there was 5 bids for the project, so it was very competitive. Was it 8?
Yeah.
So it was very competitive.
Yeah, anywhere from 576 to 809.
Yep. So I received a notice of intent today, so I'm gonna sign that off and get the stuff ordered for a June project.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving on to the Human Resources Consent Agenda. I'm going to try and group these because they're a consent agenda, and I just looked through them. I don't see any options. So can I get a motion to approve items 10A through I of the Human Resources Consent Agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kern.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Marola. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Office of Teaching and Learning Agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the 3 new middle level courses as this?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Reimers, second by Ms. Hahn. Motion as written. Discussion?
Yeah, I've got just a question about this. Do we believe that there's enough interest for these new courses?
So at this point, they were written to be high interest electives. We don't poll students because if we weren't to get approval and then we were to offer them, that'd be a difficult conversation to have, especially with a 6th grader. So they were written to be high interest and written to address standards that aren't addressed in other places. As with any course, if we don't have enough interest, they wouldn't run.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. We're cooking now. All right. Item 12, Policy and Programs Consent Agenda. Can I get a motion to approve items A, B, and C as written?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Reimers.
Second.
Second by Ms. Rogers. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right. Item 13, Sports and Activities Consent Agenda. Can I get a motion for items A and B as written? The Junior Prom DJ and the Katie Photography.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Spear with the motion.
I'll second.
Ms. Marola with the second. Discussion.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Yes, please.
I see that Katie is back on. I thought we were looking in different directions, or was that based on review by Mr. Garden? Because I know there had been discussion about Katie at a prior meeting.
We had some discussion on whether or not to consider moving away from Katie and back to Christmas City. I believe that the consensus of the, was that a committee, I believe?
Activities Committee.
Was Activities Committee. The consensus of the Activities Committee was to bring forth the agreement contract from Katie. So that is what the committee had recommended after hearing that presentation.
Okay, thank you.
And that one is pending solicitor review.
Correct, and it's a 1 year, correct?
I didn't know my file had most recently the end of last year.
If I remember correctly, though, that's we're allowing them, because this was their first year, we're allowing a second year for.
Yeah, I believe the consensus of the committee was that, given that they haven't delivered a yearbook yet, because it's their
Correct.
first engagement, it's really hard to judge the quality of their work without seeing it through. Christmas City has indicated that they're ready to step up and take this over at a moment's notice, so if we do decide to change something in the future, that we still have that option.
And this was a 1-year contract, right?
This is a 1 year.
This is.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Information items. We have the senior high school suspension report, we have the SRO report, we have enrollment updates, district vacancies, right to know legal bills, transportation trend analysis from bus patrol, monthly activity report, elementary school guest speakers and presenters, middle school guest speakers and presenters, high school guest speakers and presenters, and a statement of financial interest form due April 30th. So that's a reminder to get your financial interest forms into Miss San Angelo.
I would like to make a suggestion to Ms. San Angelo. The, both in the executive content, the right to know legal bills and the superintendent office legal bills are, they're protected, yeah. We don't have permission to actually access them. Okay, all right.
I requested access, sorry.
I just did now, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So for those in the audience, there's no new legal bills for that item, and that's why it wasn't updated. Mr. Lyons, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say that's, my understanding is that we only get them when they're updated. So we didn't have the constant back and forth on saying the names, that we only wanted to see them when it was an updated thing, so that's.
We'll try to, it was on there as a placeholder, we'll try to take it off in the future when there is no update. Okay, board comments, new business. Does anybody have any new business for the board? Hearing
I
none.
just want to thank everybody for coming out. I think this is valuable to hear, and I thank you guys all for coming out, and I appreciate your comments.
I'm going to make one quick comment. I've gone back and forth whether or not I want to do this, and I'll face his wrath. I'm going to make one quick comment about an event coming up this weekend. There will be 2 students from Quakertown School District representing the district at the District 1, I believe, swim meet. Logan Abel, who is a freshman, who's going to be awesome, and my son Jacob.
Is that the wrath you're putting?
That's the wrath I'm going to get. I'm very proud of him, and I'm happy to see these 2 young men really represent the district well this weekend.
So I'm probably going to get in trouble and suffer my own wrath too, but I want to say that I really appreciate everybody coming out and talking to us. It's very meaningful, and the emotions up here are just as raw as they are out there. This, no matter how you look at it, this was not anything anybody here would ever want. There is no one up here or out there that I believe would celebrate violence against children. It breaks my heart to see. And I acknowledge that we probably have a lot to learn from how we handled the situation. And I think there's a lot that we can do internally to possibly prevent something like this from happening again. And I hope that the community is listening to folks like Aiden and their common sense comments. I really appreciate what you said. It was very well said. we need to get back to a point where we can disagree civilly. We don't need to tolerate hate. We don't need to attack each other. We don't need to protect anybody that would infringe on the rights of somebody else. Like, I understand people have different perspectives. I appreciate your different perspectives, and I'm grateful to everybody who behaved up here. I'm proud of all of you. We did great. So I think we're all doing some self-reflection. I think we're all very close to this right now. It's still very raw. And I think the most measured approach to a response is going to require some distance and some time from the event, and then self-reflection on how we all do better. That's all I have to say.
And I have a brief comment too.
Please.
I just wanted to say, I believe this is something we can all learn from. The district can make improvements to our communication channels to students. I mean, we had many people come up here tonight and say, this was predictable. You know, we can do better in how we communicate to students. So as much as the students are going to learn something, the adults are going to learn something from this as well, at least at this table. So, you know, I want to make sure that we are doing the right thing in the future. And one other thing that I heard, just to show you that I am listening, is that I heard a lot of accusations of racism, things like that. And I know in the past, when we've had an issue in this school, we've brought a consultant in to the school to speak to the students. So if we have students calling each other racial slurs in hallways, maybe it's been too long since we've had somebody come in here to talk to them.
Yeah.
So I believe that's something maybe we could look into in the future. And thank you all for coming too.
Can I say
Comments. There will be another public comment. Real close. All right, anybody else? Thank you all. One more thing. I want to thank everybody for all the long hours, because we've all been, I mean, everybody, we've been putting in a lot of effort, and thank you for that. Dates for board member calendars, please review them. And now we are on the final general public comment. Now would be an appropriate time. Come on
Do
up.
I have to go?
Yes, please.
Well, we have a couple people.
We have some people who have signed up.
People signed up first.
I wasn't aware there were some who were signed up for this. And then, yes, we're going to open up, even if you didn't sign up, we're going to welcome you to come up and talk to us.
Just form a line.
Yeah. It's fine. It's general public comment. I'm not worried.
Is that a yay?
Yeah, I'm holding. It's the end.
I agree.
Emily Gasparat.
I just came up as a backup to speak on behalf of Justin, since he's from Buckingham and he's not allowed to speak.
We were going to let him speak.
Oh, you are going to let him speak? Oh, okay, we said, he was told he had to sign up. Okay.
So you go ahead.
I can speak?
Yeah, you said you can. That's great.
Hello. Okay, I'm Justin Darcy. I'm from Buckingham. Grew up in Lansdale. Went to North Penn High School. I know I'm an outsider. I'm not here to antagonize anybody. Right? But I'm an educator of 18 years. I've just moved into a different job, so I'm a former educator, music educator. I taught in Philadelphia for 3 years, and I taught in Asia and Taiwan for 8 years, and Shanghai for 3 years, and Beijing for 1 year. So I've been around, and I taught every single age range from preschool to adult. So that includes high school, middle school, elementary school, and they have different levels of pre-K. It's like 5 pre-Ks in Taiwan. It's messy. But look, I only know what I see, and I'm emotionally in a different place than people here because they're from this town. But I'm from this county, and when I left the country, I was away for 10 years, and I grew up in Lansdale, and Montgomery County is diverse. and they held on to their DEI initiatives in the face of pressure. And so I know that community has less racism. And I'm not making general accusations. I'm telling you my personal experience, what I discovered in moving to Bucks County from Shanghai, China 4 years ago, and seeing what the people in this county have to say about the things that we see and disturb us. And this girl that came up earlier and cried, that's real, okay? So don't know anybody say she's trying to be a drama queen. Okay, that girl is suffering, it's real. Her family is in danger. Think about the fear she is undergoing right now. It's real, and it's being, I'm sorry, I'll just okay, so I'm just trying to address everybody in that respect. Furthermore, I feel like you guys, from what I just heard, it was a really like in touch response. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people are out of touch, but I feel like you guys are like, the people I just heard speak is really encouraging. And the fact that you made the public comment available at the beginning was courteous. It's the way you should treat the community. You have an attitude of love in your heart. I can see it. And I know you know that when we treat children, that's where it's got to come from. And I know you know, everybody knows who saw what they saw, that that's not where that man was acting from. He was acting from anger and hatred, okay? And when you put your hands on a child, I don't care if it's in a school or if it's out of a school. The people in this district and who teach these children day and night for their shit salary that they get and the amount of hatred they get from this community, the care for a child does not stop when they leave the door. You are a shit teacher, and I was one for many years, so I speak from experience.
Thank you for your comment.
Thanks for listening, everybody. But when I became a good teacher is when I started acting with love and started controlling my own anger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If you'd like to form a line.
Hello again. David, I appreciate
the municipality, it's for the record.
Oh,
You need to do it.
okay. Richlandtown Borough. Oh, name as well? Aaron Rumsey. David, I don't think that time and distance is the answer. I think that immediate action in the moment that you have right here is the answer. Time and distance may heal certain things, but we don't have time with our students to change the amount of PTSD that they're experiencing and going through right now. We need to bring people in now, not deliberate about it, like carnivals and freezers. So I ask of all of you to reach down deep. I saw more emotion while going through the regular business of the school board than when anyone came up here to speak about the dangers that our students experienced and the traumas that they experienced as students. So this is your moment, and I encourage you and I implore you and I impel you all to take action now, start now. We are almost a week from the day of this event. You're behind the clock, and there are resources out there. Use the Google, do the things, find the people that can come in and help restore this community and the most important parts of it, and that's our students. And in regards to the racial slurs and hate speech that happens inside the walls of the schools, it's not new. My children, my students have been reporting this since they were in 6th grade center and middle school, everyone. Reporting it and getting a little yellow slip that gets buried under a pile, and it's never actually addressed with the students doing it. Do you know who gets in trouble for using racial slurs in school? Students that actually own them. Students that have taken back those words in an empowering sense. Not the students who are using them hatefully towards each other. Students that are using them with love. I have emailed and I have met with administrators at the high school this year more times than I would like to admit. But there being a lack of follow-up and follow-through on my concerns is why I'm here today. It's not just why I support these students, but why I support all of the students. And this is why I'm asking all of you to take action immediately and take their concerns seriously. There is records of these things. And as the school board, isn't that what you were voted to do? Or voted in to do?
Thank you for your comment.
If I may, John Waldenberg, technically Telford Borough, but I own a business in Richland Township. First, I want to add something I forgot to say when I spoke earlier, and that is for those who forget that children have First Amendment rights as well. These students that we're talking about today, they are what, 14, 15, 16, 17, maybe almost 18. They'll be voting this year, some of them. They'll be voting next year when some of the members of this board are up for re-election. They'll be voting in the 2028 presidential election. Their voice matters more than people realize, and I hope people will see that. Now, if I may jump away from politics for a second, I've been wanting to come to a board meeting briefly just to ask on behalf of my business. I own Walden's Music in Quakertown here. We're right on Broad Street. We're the only music store in town. And I love the music department in this district. Frankly, if I had the opportunity to move here, I may. But I would like to see something that maybe the board takes some action to bring a little more fairness into how music vendors are presented to the parents. Currently, the only thing that's in place is a try-it night that is only Zeswitz music. And I would like to see all other music companies, not just myself. I would love to see if Clemmers wants to come up here. I would love to see Saucon Valley come in if they want to, enter into this district too. I would love to see other local music stores have the opportunity to get in front of the students and in front of the parents, so we have a little more fair playground with families seeing what their options are for musical instruments. And I would love to have more opportunities to help continue supporting the music program in the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Shannon Crawley, Quakertown Borough. Mr. Spears, I just want to say that I appreciated your comment about doing something and bringing people in, experts into the community. I believe, and somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, that a group named the Peace Center, I believe, was in years ago. Maybe it's a different name. I'm sorry, who else? Pearl S. Buck. So these are some good organizations. However, I do just implore you to not do a check the box. Sometimes in education, I see it even in my own experiences in my own schools. There's a lot of things that you want to get done, and you want to get them done quickly. And you think, okay, if I bring this group in, it's going to be check. We did it. It's off the list. It is a combating racism and hate in your school is not something you can do quickly by bringing an organization in. It has to start from the ground up, has to start from the community. We need a community connection. We need a connection with the police officers, ones who may still be on the force after this investigation. And we need us to really think deeply about how we're going to go about this. It's not something, I mean, structured literacy is something that I know we all have to do with the state of Pennsylvania. We have to create comprehensive literacy plans. We have to get a group of community members and administrators and special ed directors and all of that together to create those plans. So we need to be a little bit more serious about this, maybe bring in some of the people in this community, and start to talk to one another and teach students how to communicate and communicate effectively. One thing that we do in education is we hide. I have a husband who's with me today. He's not speaking up here. He's also a teacher. He works for a public school and he's afraid. Sorry. but that's what it is. We are afraid we don't indoctrinate because we are afraid of losing our jobs. And you have to say to yourself, when we teach people not to be bigoted, is that political? It's not. This is a human right. So when you are talking to the community saying, we're reading this book, we're discussing these issues, we're having debates, we have a Republican club, or we have a Democratic club, a Green Party, whatever. We're having debates and we can communicate and we can talk and we can work together peacefully. But it is not political to say that you should not say the N-word, that you should not call people bigoted, hateful words in your school community. And for people who say that adults don't wish abuse on children, you should read the comments online. Many people, maybe not in this room tonight, some of the disgusting things they said about our children. Good for them. FAFO, right? All those comments online. I hope he gets a raise. It's disgusting. So you can't do it all. We have to do it all together, and we have to not just check a box. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Ted Shylock. I'm from Audubon in Montgomery County, but I was a school board member for 12 years and Methacton School District. So I'm just going to say about 1 minute of a comment relating to Mr. Spears' suggestion about consultants and following up with what the woman just said. She talked about having it grassroots from the bottom. We encountered that ourselves, and what we did is we had a comprehensive consultation. We had not only with students, we had it with administrators, we had it with the staff, and we had it with the board. And you'll find it instructive because you don't know what you don't know, and you'll learn it there, and because you make the decisions, and it impacts as it goes down to the students, through the teachers, and through the administrators. So I would suggest that. It was a good suggestion, and I think it should be expanded.
Well, if you could send us that information. board@qcsd.org.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Hello, Heather Brown. I live in Bedminster Township. I'm not from Quakertown, but I have family in the area. And the most important people in the world to me are students at Quakertown High School. It was no surprise to me to hear the folks standing up here talking about the racism and discrimination that they faced. I don't live here, but it's well known to me. I have to hope that it's well known to you, but I almost don't want to hope that, right? Because if you knew and it's not addressed, then that's a thing. But if you didn't know and everybody else knew, then that's also a thing. So I'm super appreciative of you all being here and listening and hopefully taking into account the voices that are speaking tonight. I wanted to make a comment on behalf of the students who participated in the protest. I certainly don't know all the details. I'm not presuming to, but it's my understanding that there is some, I'll say, school disciplinary action perhaps for those kids. If that's the case, and I don't know that it is, but if that's the case, I'd just like to make a plea on their behalf. There's lots of kids who are suffering and in a bad spot right now and who are not feeling good and who are not feeling safe in general. So to add something like a school suspension to their record or a detention, potentially even, That just seems to me to place an unnecessary emotional burden on those kids who've already been through a situation that it sounds like none of us would ever want them to be in, of course. So I just ask you to think about those kids and anything you can do within your power to ease their burden with that simple act, right? We talk about doing things now and bringing in folks, and all of that is amazing. And yes, I think there's a lot of work to be done, but you can also start with small wins. If there's anything, within your power that you can do to help those kids and to show them that, maybe you recognize that things could have been done differently, right? I think, there were kids present here today. I don't know if there's a plan to relay this information to the students, but I think it would be great. Thank you so much.
I'm Megan, Amy. I've lived in Quakertown on and off for many, many years. I am an alumni, moved out of the town for a long time, left the town to go to college because this town was not where I wanted to be for a multitude of reasons. I have a house here now. I'm up on Hillcrest. When I was in high school, Hillcrest Road was horse farms. There were nice people on Hillcrest. When I look out my front door now, there are the same people that coal rolled through the Black Lives Matter protests driving down my street at midnight or 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, I don't know, pick a time. The police never, ever follow up on these people. And I want to point that out to you because you guys have received some threats. And I understand that you are doing your absolute best. But what I want to let you know is that we are all here with you. And this conspiracy against human rights, this is a felony. But this has been going on for so many years in Quakertown that people are complacent with it. And these people here tonight are not complacent with it. Not one of these people is. Even the men who were upset about our police force getting caught in the middle of this. Because our entire police force is not KKK. Our entire police force is not corrupt. But we want you guys to be firm. We need your support. We do not need the same aggressors that attacked our children in the street to come after them inside the schools. We do not need our kids locked down in a hallway when there's hundreds of kids trying to get out that door and have these officers that are responsible for their safety putting them in danger in a way where they could be run over. We all know the fire hazards in this case. So there were barricades that happened within the school that blocked hundreds of kids in a hallway knowing that there was a gun threat. And the other kids who were allowed out of the school, we know many of them are tech students. We know the antagonists in this. You guys know the antagonists in this. And we want you to be firm, and we want you to talk to the DA, please.
Good evening. Ronald Jackson, Richland Township, former member of this esteemed panel. I want to say I sympathize with everybody on the board, specifically because I know where you come from and what you're thinking right now. Speaking for the board, not that I could, but understanding your role, it concerns me that so many people are suggesting that it is your fault in some manner. The moment the school students left the school building, they were no longer under your charge. You had no control of what they did. You had no control over what the police officers did when they engaged with the students. So the continuous lambasting of what occurred the moment they left the school grounds concerns me. The concept that you can somehow free the students who are in some way not able to do what. That's a little short there, Terry. I see how I'm done. So it concerns me that many people here are suggesting that in some way you can change the outcome of the legal proceedings that are about to engage. And that in some way you have some control over the members who are a part of Quakertown's police force. That concerns me. It concerns me that there seems to be an impression that you somehow had to allow the students to leave the school, as if you couldn't stop them. To that, I would suggest that should my 10-year-old son choose to go home for lunch, you're going to let him, correct? I mean, you don't have the ability to stop a student from leaving the school district. Is that what you're telling me? There must be some rationale, some policy, something for you all to consider before you decide whether or not to allow something to go forward in the future. Certainly you knew that when the thing was going to be canceled, something like this could happen. I would suggest there was a better way to do something. I understand the nature of the threat was severe. I disagree with the parents who said, well, we should have known this, that, and the other thing. Well, I believe most of the parents would have said, well, it's just a threat. We still want it to go on until some student got shot and died, and then they would be complaining because you didn't cancel it. So you're in a catch-22 situation. It's impossible for you to win. One thing I will take issue with, I believe the district leadership has failed in a number of ways since it became the district leadership. First event that happened was the swearing-in ceremony, and unfortunately, the district leadership decided to select somebody, I believe, in a partisan reason, because they went with a local mayor who had, unfortunately, no authority to perform the swearing-in ceremonies and had to quickly redo the whole thing because it had to be done by a judge, which is what we had traditionally done in the past, but you chose to do a certain other thing. Then we have the issue with the superintendent. Now, there are reasons behind it, but it's a bad look when the contract with the superintendent was extended and the first thing that happens is he was removed from his role. That's not a good look. And then we had this incident. I think it could have been handled better. So that I asked the district leadership, you need to do a lot better. The optics are pretty bad since you guys have taken the leadership. So those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else? Okay, thank you all for your comments. We are on to, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night.
Guys, thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for speaking. Thank you for sharing your concerns and your thoughts.
I mean, I think everyone did a really good job speaking. Obviously, emotions were very high. Most people were, again, here in support of a lot of the things I've already stated were my own opinions. It only changes when we all unify, and the opposition wants us separated. They want us frustrated. They want discourse among us because if we're divided by political beliefs or race or sexism, we can't really go over, we can't really fight the real problem, which is like, honestly, the elitist societies that have all the wealth in our country, if we're being honest. But yeah, I guess just keep being shining stars, keep being advocates for your future and for the future of everybody, because that's what you are.